Welcome to this episode of the Customer Centric Retailing Podcast. This is Anil Patel, founder and CEO of Hotwire Commerce. In this podcast, we discuss e-commerce, omnichannel technology, pre-order management, brick and mortar operations, retail culture, innovation, and how all these elements come together to create customer-centric retailing. Join us to hear the brightest minds in the retail industry share their experiences and thoughts on the most relevant topics today. Hello, welcome everyone to the Customer Centric Retailing Podcast. You know what? Today we have with us Joe Lopardi. He is the Director of Retail at Trina Turk. Hey Joe, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good, actually. I'm good. And in fact, excited, especially I like your hair. So,
Thank you.
and then you have a laugh. So, I like it. So, yeah, so that makes me think that we are going to have really fun conversation today.
I would agree. I'm very happy to join you this morning. Thanks very much for having me on.
Awesome. Cool. So, Joe, before I start talking about you, in fact, instead I'll have you tell us about your journey. You started your career and then you've done all sorts of stuff to get to where you are today, leading retail for such a great fashion brand.
Well, thank you. I've had a great career. I'm 20 years in the industry at this point, and I've held a multitude of positions. Maybe in my early days, assistant manager for a single location, store manager for several single locations, and I just fell in love with the concept of what retail is and what it could be. So I asked for a lot of grooming and a lot of development. And back in my early days at Diesel, fantastic company to really learn from and grow with. And they gave us a lot of tools and a lot of development, especially in the sense of leadership development. That I continue to apply to everything that I've done since Diesel and through my current experience here at Trina Turk. I left Diesel after about 10 years. And again, I started with single store, grew into a multi-store position, held that for several years, and then decided that I really wanted to continue to work with an elevated clientele. So I went from premium denim right into luxury. My first Rodeo Drive experience, which was very aspirational for me, especially living out here in California. One in retail must eventually land on Rodeo Drive, and I had the great ability to do that through the C.H. Carolina Herrera organization, and a beautiful luxury ready-to-wear fashion house for both men, women, children, full accessory line, and I learned a great deal about that type of client, that type of team member, standards, expectations, how to really communicate through merchandising and the environment to a high level VIC consumer. And I did that for a couple of years. Again, it was a direct multi-store position. I had a mix of full price stores and outlet stores. I was being exposed to different markets that I had not been exposed to through Diesel. So I was continuing to grow and learn just as much as I was able to contribute to the organization that I had just joined. St. John started knocking on my door, an American luxury house, pretty iconic, and I loved the idea that they were based in Southern California. Every other brand I had worked with up until that point was European based or had a base in New York. That was the standard base of operation in the United States. So to be able to have the headquarters for a brand that I was going to work for in very close to me, driving distance for me, was very exciting. So I seized the opportunity to work with an American sportswear brand that had a great reputation, great legacy, and it gave me additional responsibility again over some different geographical areas of the United States. So now I have 50% of the country that I'm responsible for. And I'm working exclusively with a women's product. There are no men's, no children. So that was a little bit of a dynamic change for me that I had to adapt into. But I had a really fantastic team of folks leading 13 stores from St. Louis, Missouri, all the way to Honolulu, Hawaii. So a lot to learn and a lot to experience with such nuanced and different markets. And I did that for a couple of years, and then there was a knock at my door again. This time it was from Cartier. So I had no choice but to answer. I had only been with St. John for it was just under 2 years when Cartier came courting, and it was an incredible opportunity that they were presenting to me. I was going to be a regional director for Southern California, but I was also going to have direct responsibility to lead the Beverly Hills boutique, which was one of the inside the top 10 of boutiques worldwide for the Cartier house. So of course I seized the opportunity to make this transition, and it was a big one. It was a very big transition. I was the only regional director in North America to have that duality of responsibility, but I embraced it. And I learned a lot, and it was an incredible environment to be a part of. Two different teams, but one whole team together, driving that business for the Southwest United States. Just an incredible experience for me. Um, Loved the product, loved the house, loved the legacy, but I then had an opportunity to go from a very regional or very specific geographical focus to head of retail for an entire organization, and that's what brought me to Trina Turk. So I left the jewelry behind, went back into fashion, and I was drawn to the brand because of the culture that I had experienced as a client. I've been a client of the brand for some time. While I was working at Cartier, while I was working at St. John, I had become a client of the men's line, the Mr. Turk line, and that in store experience that I would have specifically in Palm Springs, California, was what really drew me to keep an eye on their job board, and that opportunity availed itself in 2019, and I've been with the organization ever since. Uh, Head of retail for a really fantastic company. It's about to turn 30 years old next year, so it's a big year for us coming up. And I joined I had the last pre-COVID retail experience, last months of that when I started, and then immediately led the team through that whole COVID experience that we all had as retailers of brick and mortar locations. Yes. But we made it. We weathered it. We came out stronger. We came out better, and we are still going. We are still going, and I'm very proud of everything that my team and I have been able to accomplish.
Awesome, really, really good. Actually, you have such a great experience line because of like going through all these really cool brands and at the high end luxury brands. And I'm sure this whole brand experience, in store experience, is just special. And it takes a lot of care, a lot of thinking through, and being creative in that sense. And especially with Trina Turk, like you said, that you were the customer of this brand and you were experiencing that in the store. For sure, fashion brand is really quite colorful and bold, right? And that also, I believe, resonates and aligns with the culture of the company. So when you go higher, because like in the retail, the challenge is keeping that team, building the team in the retail locations in the store, and making sure that they are aligned with the culture and they're giving that experience that your brand represents in the store. So tell us about those your experiences and your secret sauce of hiring and getting people motivated with the energy and coming with such a welcoming and helping your customers do their shopping.
I think honestly, it begins with the candidates who present themselves with behaviors or body language or enthusiasm, something I can't train. Something that you have to come with, and a lot of people call that an it factor. And I believe that's an appropriate term, because the it factor for my brand is going to be very specific. It's going to be different for a brand B, brand C, and so on and so forth. And I think the it factor for me, for us at Trina Turk, is passion, for the retail industry and for the client experience. We have to be continuously focusing on engaging, connecting, bringing new clientele in, inspiring loyalty, inspiring that long-term engagement with us. So I'm always looking for people who through the interview process can speak to what inspires them to follow through on those key areas of the position. And then I think what else really comes out of it is your passion for the fashion industry itself, because we are not just clerks in our stores, in our boutiques. We're really wardrobing clientele in the lifestyle of the Trina Turk and Mr. Turk brand. So we have to know what is occurring in the fashion industry. What are the current trends? What's coming up? What kind of fabrication, silhouettes, patterns? What's really making the market move in a positive direction, and how do we connect our offering to what those trends are? And I think those two key components, in addition to having some good experience or the ability, the past ability to have worked in a client-centric environment, that is our secret sauce. That's what brings people into our brand. And then once I can make those offers and go through a really solid, thorough onboarding process, it's all about keeping that line of communication open between my store leaders and my team. That consistent flow of feedback to our team members is what helps them continue to inspire to go further, be stronger, improve their interaction skills, get more clients. And then, of course, there's incentives that go along with that, because I'm a firm believer in rewarding positive behavior and great results. So as often as I can, I provide we provide the coaching. We also provide the incentive to go further. And I think what it really has done for me personally and for my brands, we've had great retention as a result of taking those steps, doing the work, putting the hard work in, especially with folks that are joining us for the first time and are very new to the brand. It's really important that we exhibit as leaders what we want our teams to exhibit to our clients. And I think that a reflection of that in the very early days of a team member's relationship with us is really critical.
Awesome. Cool. So especially working in the luxury brand, right? And luxury retailing, the associates in the store and their lifestyle and what they can afford and what their perception is versus the customers. The customers, what they want, what their lifestyle is, and what their perception of life is. It's very different, actually, really, really, quite apart. So how does it work out? Like, how do you kind of make that happen? Because I'm almost curious about it. Like, how would a store associate working in a really high-end luxury brand actually put themselves in the customer's shoes, really understand what they really want, what will work best for them, and help them through the process?
It's a very interesting question, and I think the best way to answer it is, if you're really trying to put yourself into your customer's shoes, then you have to listen to them. Without interacting back, you just have to let them talk a little bit and get to understand what their desire is, what is their motivation for visiting you and being a part of your experience. And then we as the team member that's receiving that kind of information need to leverage that to guide the customer through the appropriate experience. It's very easy for us because we work with this product day in and day out, and we're very accustomed to it. So it's very easy for us to have our own personal favorites. But at the end of the day, what's most important to the client is that they're leaving with their favorite. And the best way for us to accomplish that is to just lean into the conversation, guide it, but let the client lead it.
Awesome, man. Great. Really makes total sense to me. Yes, yes, yes. So, like, all these store associates, like I said, this they start journey. They have so much learning going on. There's, it's hard work. You are there always listening, and listening is no easy job. It's hard. actually being attentive and be really a good listener is hard. It's hard skill. And then when they go into this kind of a job market, they take this profession. What do you think about their career path? Like, what are their opportunities? Do they kind of go and grow and become like get into the leadership positions and become like successful in the sense where they make really really good money and they become leaders and then they are happy that they are able to do some more challenging jobs? How does their career path go?
It really depends on the associate. And we as a leadership team, all the teams that I've led in the past, including this one, the team members are our clients. So it's our job to provide them with tools and resources to remain successful, to continue to grow and develop their skills. But it's also our mission is to listen to them and what they want from their careers. We have those annual performance review conversations where we talk career pathing, because those may also change over time depending on the associate, their level of success that they may be having in their current role. But then other folks, they've reached a point where they want to they want to try something else. They want to move into a different level of responsibility. So I think as often as you can, the annual review process is a great time to talk career pathing, but it shouldn't be the only time that it's being discussed. And that's why I'm a very firm believer and hold myself and my team accountable to regular touch base strategy, where we talk business, we talk their productivity, we talk about changes in the market, how we as leaders can support their continued success. But then we also periodically check in and ask how they are doing in their current role. How are they feeling as an associate in one of our stores? And where do they see themselves throughout the course of the rest of that year or in years coming? A lot of times, what I've learned is that if you have a really great relationship with your direct reports, they're comfortable enough to come to you and also let you know when they're ready for something new or for something different. And I think, I always find that to be a great conversation, because it tells me that we've provided them with enough to make them feel like they've had a great deal of success in their current role, and they're comfortable enough to try something else, step out of that comfort zone and into a new phase of learning.
And I think earlier what you said that for the help if store associates or you as a retailer help working with customers, helping them buy what they want, what their favorite is. Do you think that skill or that way of having conversation or listening to the other person and helping them through the process of them getting what they want, does that also translate into your own internal culture, internal collaboration within the team, helping them each other work with each other and grow together? Because like now you have an inherent skill of listening to the other person and help knowing what they want and helping them get what they want.
Absolutely, I think they're completely intertwined, and I'm a firm believer also in being using the same guiding principles across multiple platforms as often as possible, because it makes it, culturally, it just makes it very easy to shift from the type of conversation that you're having while staying very true to the common theme and the common core. Uh, Keeping those lines of communication open with the team and ensuring that they are collaborating with each other, working with each other, is something that I think is really important to overall team success. And again, in this business, this day and age, retention is very difficult. Um, there's a lot of competition in the marketplace, and open positions put your store productivity, your location productivity at risk. So any investments we can make as leaders, regardless of what company you work for, um, it endears your team to you. They want to stay working for you. They want to remain a part of your team because um, they become very accustomed to, very loyal to the support and the care that you give them as a member of your organization.
Yeah, makes sense. And also, like, in today's day and age, when so much retail is evolving so fast, like 30 years ago, you didn't have all this online, you didn't have phone, you didn't have like people playing, using phone apps to browse the catalog and, making that decision, and even actually talking to their friends on phone, having conversation, TikTok reels, and all sorts of stuff. Like, none of that was there. So the buying experience and selling experience has evolved, has changed a lot. So that also means a lot of new gadgets, new workflows, new strategies, new SOPs in the store also. And so then comes the challenge. Like, your staff, your people are used to doing things in a certain way, but now market has evolved. Customer wants to shop in different way. So that's the challenge, right? So like, I'm like, what is your experience on, like, getting customer, your associates, your people in the store to adopt those technologies and use them effectively?
Great question. Because back in my old diesel days, we everything was brick and mortar, there or wholesale. That was it. Those were your two divisions. Those your 2 points of distribution were the multi brand and directly from the main line. And now in this digital space and the amount of digital information that's available to clients, uh, it's been an interesting game to keep up with. I'm a big shopper, and I find myself shopping directly from my Instagram account because of these very well placed advertisements. Uh, and it's a good experience. It's very efficient. It's very quick. All of my information is loaded on my phone, so a couple clicks. If I like something that I see, couple clicks later, it's on its way to me. Uh, I think what I've done with my team is I've given them access to tools to keep up with this new way of doing business. They have phones, they have tablets, they have devices at their disposal that they can use, be it personal or company platforms that are available to them. And I think for a lot of the team members, they have really great relationships, very trusting relationships with a lot of their clientele who shop in the physical sense and also in the digital sense with members of my team. And a lot of those relationships have resulted in my team members giving out their personal device contact information, um, as part of that availability concept. Um, I think the most important thing to really teach the team is to be open to different ways of doing business, and that can be virtual, or it can be tangible and very physical. At the end of the day, the client experience must remain the same. However, they choose to engage with us, that engagement is on their terms. We just need to be open to and willing, to meet them on those platforms. And I think again, for the most part, when that relationship is built and is one of trust and rapport, it makes it very easy for the team member to be flexible and agile and work with them in a multitude of different ways. So I think making sure that they have the tools, making sure that they're comfortable using them, and interacting in a digital space, it is important to continuing to keep the business going. And we've actually had great success with that. We create reels on Instagram. We post them as individual business owners, if you will, but are all boosted by and hosted by our main social media pages. And we have clients actually reach out to members of the team that have created those reels and ask, I want to purchase everything that you just wore in the reel. And it's interesting because they are now becoming they're using their marketing skills that they didn't realize that they had, because they are putting together looks and components of each capsule that we drop into something that they're comfortable with, in a reel that they feel confident in constructing and posting. So now it's an interesting new skill that they're learning beyond the interaction.
Yeah, this is really good because, like you said, with the store associates already, they are into really good sales. They have a really good feel of the customers because day in day out they're talking to them, they're helping them buy what their customers want. So this also means they got that nerve and they got that detail that they need. So now they are the right candidate, like you said, to put together all those reels, all that content. For the audience that they know who they are and get that reels to those customers, and really really good way of having a sales process going even when customer is not actually in the store. So when they are coming in the store, they know exactly what they want, and then conversation can move from that step instead of starting from scratch. So in fact, with this, there's another thing that comes up in the industry is that because all these store retailing is about commissions. So associates get paid on the commissions that they for the sales they have helped with. But then there's whole new dimension because of digital. Like you don't know who created the reel, who you don't know which advertisement they clicked, you don't know if they were coming from the order was placed from mobile app, but the store associate helped the customer to buy that. So the big challenge these days is when customers coming in the store to buy something, it's hard to attribute it to which marketing dollar this sales should be credited to. So like what do you think, or how is this challenge working out in your company, especially with all this omni-channel strategies, buy online, pick up in store, return in store is a big pain. Like you buy online but bring into the store, and the store's like, come on man, I didn't even sell it and you are giving me the return. So like buy online, return in store is like a big one. So tell us about, like, I don't know if you do ship from store, but like let's say if you were going to do that, how is all that adding to the complexity?
I think we have to always remember that we are in business to serve a client, and the evolution of the retail business in particular has involved this whole concept of omni-channel, where we are leveraging one pool of inventory, but through a DTC, not just through one channel or another. And I think we do that really well. We and how we do it is we make sure that whatever component of Omni the client is using, uh, maybe channel one, but they're contacting channel two for support. We just make sure that the client never sees that there's a division between option A and option B in the queue. But when it comes to support questions, needing a response, and then for us, we incentivize our team through individual commission, but then also a pool commission. So anything that's happening in the confines of a boutique, it draws the team together to work exceptionally diligently on achieving and exceeding objectives and results, taking very good care of the client, and understanding that everything is going to balance out. There are going to be high returns, there are going to be high sales. Performance is not evaluated on a day by day basis, but over spans of time. And we want to make sure that our team members who are engaged in these activities of service versus sale, are still they still have access to financial compensation as a result. And we also make sure that it's shared. It's a shared responsibility. Everything that we do in our stores, everybody is a part of that process, whether it's managing offline transactions, working with the logistics, uh, merchandising the store, processing shipment. That's something that we all do. And for a company our size, I don't have very many dedicated operational associates, uh, because everything that we're doing in our boutiques is really driven to achieve net sales financial objectives. So I put the majority of my headcount dedicated to that client facing kind of experience. So I think it's important to make sure everybody's trained in the process, everybody's sharing in the process, and that there's the incentive, that pool incentive or something like that is in place to take care of folks when they're not directly engaging in a sale.
Awesome, man. Really, I'm happy, really happy to hear that pool incentives. That is the concept, I'm big fan of. Because in this omni-channel world, it's hard. It's totally hard. So, and you open the store and online sales goes up. How are you going to, attribute that? But it's reality. Everybody knows it. So, like you said, you have to put some kind of a logic there and geographical boundary to define the impact of this store location is a good way to go for it, actually.
Absolutely, because when we open up a store in a market, it doesn't just affect the store, the regional sales, whether they're purely digital or hybridized. The market is impacted by a physical location being present. We had a very interesting experience. We had opened up a pop up in Naples, Florida, based on historical digital sales from that section of Southwest Florida. Uh, when we opened the store, we saw a pretty good jump in e-com sales as well as experiencing sales through the brick and mortar location. So it's interesting to see the relationship that exists when you enter a store. It's not just about one location driving revenue, but there's a ripple effect. There's that digital ripple effect that's within a few zip codes of your geography that you're also positively affecting.
Yeah, man, this is great. Good to know. Definitely, I've had many retailers say that. So I'm happy that more and more people are recognizing and seeing that, yes, it is happening. So yeah, cool, man. Thank you very much. It was really, I've had so good conversation. One last question. One last question. Right, before we wrap up, like, what do you think in the lifestyle business, right? Retail of in the lifestyle products. What is driving what are the major factors driving the sales in this segment of the industry, like lifestyle retail?
You know what? I think for us, the secret to that has been hosting really significant event strategies for our clientele, for our consumer. We do things on a micro level, single store level that are appealing to the brand's clients in that local geography, and then we do some things more on a little bit more on a macro level. I can give you an example. Architectural preservation is very important to the brand. The whole concept of California mid-century culture, that style of architecture that's prevalent throughout the United States, but has a very significant footprint in California. Very important to us as a brand and to our brand's founder, Trina herself. Uh, every February is the Modernism Week, and it's a 10-day experience where people come in from all around the world for home tours, panel discussions, different experiences where they can come and experience like what mid-century culture is all about. We host a multitude of events that are philanthropic in nature, donate back to some of these preservation organizations, as well as artist meet and greets in our Palm Springs location. And that helps us convey what the lifestyle of Trina Turk and Mr. Turk is to these clients. They enjoy having those experiences because they're very unique, they're very us, they're part of our DNA. And it keeps them coming back and it keeps them engaged, whether they are permanently close to one of our boutiques or it's a boutique that they come and visit anytime they're in town.
Awesome, man. This is really good. I come from technology business, and this is something is very aligns with how I see the world. Like, for example, we work with communities hosting. We share our code, our software with the open source communities. We host events where we come together as a company to help figure out bugs, maybe build out a new feature. When in the open source community, people request a feature, like, there's nobody's going to pay anyone, but then we volunteer to put together those features, build out those features, bugs reports. But then also, like, our company, our engineering team is in India, so in the city Indore. And our company, we every Saturday, our people come to office. When everybody else is looking for 2-day weekends, our people come to the office on Saturdays, and they work with local students. They help them. Yeah. So they help them share their knowledge. Like, hey, this is what it means when you come to work. This is the tech you want to listen, you want to market, and all that. So they are hosting all these conferences, small conferences, like 15 people, 20 people, but it's kind of like a mini dev conference happening every Saturday. So I really can relate with what you're saying. And it is important that, we connect. And it is that, we have to be connected with the community we work with. And it's very important to keep that brand going and, live that thing.
It is. It is. I admire what you do.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Hey, Joe, thank you very much for your time. I'm sure our audience is going to love this episode, and I'm sure, yeah. Cool, man. Thank you. And I'll talk to you soon sometime.
All right. Thank you.
That's it for this episode of the Customer Centric Retailing Podcast. If you like what you heard, you can subscribe on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and Google Podcast. Please rate and review and recommend to a friend or a fellow retail fanatic. This podcast is presented by Hotworks Commerce.